Welcome back to the Beer Sherpa. I am your host, Danimal. As some of you might know that have been coming to this channel, even though this is technically our second episode, I am one of the servers, bartenders, as well as front-end managers of Square Brewing here in Crown Point, Indiana. The intent of this channel is to kind of talk about beer and what beer is, and the intricacies about some of the different styles that we have at our brewery and just styles in general. Today we are showcasing one of kind of our fall favorites, which would be Abbey Normal. Abbey Normal is a Belgian triple. Belgians for the most part are an interesting style of beer. They are they don't really fit into any European category except their own. They're so interesting and different and, for a lack of better words, just weird. Abbey Normal is one of those beers that you get a lot going on, and when you sit down and you kind of think about what went into making the beer, you really get a sense of, okay, that's why I'm picking up on what I'm picking up on. Traditionally, Belgians are beers that tend to be pretty spicy. They tend to give out some plum notes. They give out some citrusy notes. Some of them may be a little bit more fermented and a little bit more funky than others. It just kind of depends on which style you kind of go, because Belgians had been brewing beer for 5,000 years, and that, I think that the history behind beer itself is an episode all itself. Belgians took what had already been established and kind of played. And that's what I love about Belgians, because they played. They got interesting. They kind of got a little weird. And there's honestly nothing wrong with that. And I know that there are those traditionalists out there that are saying, oh, I just want a traditional beer. Well, it's okay to want a traditional beer. I love traditional beers too. But sometimes I love a brand. I love a style that is a little bit more interesting and dynamic and complex, and that is what a Belgian is. So before we get into actually tasting Abbey Normal, we kind of have to go into Belgians themselves. This is a Belgian triple, and some people are like, okay, well, triple what? Well, triple is technically about ABV, honestly. I mean, when you think about alcohol, especially back in the day, especially from certain areas of Belgium, what would happen is they would barrel beer and then they would mark it with X. Well, I think we're all familiar with a lot of the barrels that we see in like older cartoons, where we see like the triple X's or the double X's, or even just the single X, which is very, very rare that you would see that. But a lot of that boils down to Belgian styles with different alcohol percentages. So obviously a Belgian style beer that has 1X is actually called a Belgian single. Belgians that tend to have a little bit more ABV qualify as being a Belgian double or double. What we have on our hands right here is a Belgian triple. Belgian triples tend to have a pretty high ABV, anywhere between 8.5% to 12%, sometimes even a little bit less than that. And Belgians can even go as high as quads, which Square has not done as of yet. But Belgian triples tend to be a little bit darker in color, and they tend to permit notes of citrus and orange, and you get some cinnamon and some spicy notes, as well as coriander. They are interesting. They're complex. You get a lot of flavors in a not so big of a sip, and that's what Belgians are kind of all about, going on an adventure. And so here we are It is a glorious Friday afternoon, and we are going to explore Abbey Normal. So let's see how Abbey Normal actually is. All right, so here we are. I got the doggo behind me. If you hear the clip-clopping going around, that's him. He's very envious of the beer that I'm drinking right now, apparently. So I got our Abbey Normal poured. She's ready to go. What I'm anticipating from this beer is something that is traditional from a Belgian Tripel. So I am looking to experience, number one, some type of fruitiness towards the front. I'm expecting citrus. I'm expecting orange, because I know that the brewers utilize orange zest like they have in the past. I am more than likely going to be experiencing spicy notes. I know that coriander is going to be involved. I'm expecting a dry finish. And I'm also expecting aromas of bubblegum maybe hidden in there somewhere. I know that has been pretty strong in the past. Not sure about this batch, but we are about to see. So let's give it a shot. First, I'm going to cover it a little bit. I'm going to give it a little swirl. Try and get some of the juices flowing down there. A little bit of bubbles. And then we are going to take a big sniff. And we're going to see what calls out to us. First thing that comes to mind, small hints of bubblegum, not as predominant as it's been in the past. I am getting some malty aromas as well as some spice, which I would kind of expect. I don't know, maybe this is just me, but it smells, this is weird, it smells like it's going to be light on the palate. Mouthfeel is one of those that you can, I don't know, sometimes you can almost pick it up on aromas, and other times it's hard to pick up. But I don't know. We've got a beer that is golden-esque in shade. I know that times before Abbey's been a little bit darker, maybe a shade or two, bordering maybe on the edge of being an amber. But I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. I'm expecting good things because I've loved Abbey in the past. So we'll see. So, Abbey Normal, Square Brewing, 8.8%, 20 IBU. See what happens. So, first thing I get is a blast of orange. The orange is there in the front, and right packed behind it, coriander, spice, malt. It's not a ton of malt, but it is enough malt to make it balanced and to make it work in general. And, ooh, that dry finish. Like, you finish that sip, that dryness comes in, and I don't know about you guys, but I don't mind a beer that finishes a little on the dry end, because it just kind of makes you want to go back and have another drink, which isn't a bad thing, I don't think. Drink in moderation. But, I mean, Abbey's always kind of been one of my favorites, and this batch I think is going to go over real well. It is deceivingly smooth. For a beer that is borderline 9%, it does not drink like that whatsoever. It is, I wouldn't say necessarily thin on your palate. The mouthfeel is a little bit right in the middle between thin and thick. It's kind of right there, but I think a lot of that has to do with a Belgian itself, because of how complex it is and about how much is going on. But I mean, all in all, this batch of Abbey Normal is absolutely fantastic. It is autumn in a glass. This is a beer that you want to drink around
a campfire. This is a beer you want to drink on a patio on a nice afternoon in the fall. This is a beer that you want to grab for a family dinner if you're having, you know, a smoked meat or roasted lamb or a nice fancy dinner with your family. This is what you want in your glass, honestly. So I highly recommend dropping by, picking up a 4-pack, either at the brewery itself or even at one of the liquor stores in Northwest Indiana. Abbey Normal, fantastic beer. I hope to see you guys at Square Brewing at some time. Come and see me. We got all kinds of brews. Right now, we have about 20 brews on right now, including one house-made seltzer. We have a fantastic kitchen, a great serving and bartending staff. I'd love to see you guys in. So yeah, there we go. Next up, I think I might do a brief history on beer itself. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what the bosses say. All right, so we will talk to you guys soon, and we'll see you on the next video.